Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolors in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everybody, welcome to my studio. Diane here. Hope everybody's well and fighting fit, etc. Today we're going to have a go at painting and drawing even some kitty cats. I know this is a popular subject and it's one that's caused me much wrenching out of hair and teeth because they're taxing, cats are. We've got, how many have we got? Five. We've got five. And each one of them has to have a different diet and they're all different personalities and they fight over their beds yes, that's life with cats. So in honour of the cat, I'm going to show you one way of drawing them and another way of painting them. And they're going to be whimsical, not realistic, because I've got enough of the real thing. I don't need any more. This is the palette I'm going to use today. This is a palette of colours in a ceramic palette dish, just because why not? And here I've got my three primaries. I'm going to be doing these in a wet in wet, where the primary colours are going to mix. But I've also got some secondaries here. So we've got cobalt blue. This could be cadmium yellow. Is actually a Scheveningen yellow, but let's say for the sake of argument, it's cadmium yellow light. This could be permanent rose, could be opera, could be alizarin crimson, any one of the slightly cooler blues, reds or pink. This is quinacridone gold. I've got them all laid out here, different options. I was going to talk about that. This is actually Schminke, the one in here, but I also have Daniel Smith's quinacridone gold. They're slightly different. Daniel Smith's one is slightly darker. It doesn't really matter. Then I've got turquoise here. This is a Scheveningen turquoise, but any turquoise would do. And that's a mix of basically blue and green. So you don't need it if you haven't got it. The green I've got here is sap green. There are lots of different kinds of sap green, or you could use hooker's green. Okay, so just basically a neutral green. This is my permanent rose, my alizarin crimson, whatever I decide to use for the red. And then I've got Scheveningen orange. You could use cadmium orange or any other orange. This is my purple, which is obviously a mixture of this and this, cobalt and red. This one here, I think I put out quinacridone purple. I've also got dioxazine mauve, dioxazine violet. They're all very much of a muchness, not much to choose between them. This is my cobalt blue, which is from Schminke, but everybody makes that as well. Cadmium yellow pale and Scheveningen yellow for the yellow. It doesn't matter what brand you have and doesn't matter what the name of it is. Basically, what you want is the three primaries, red, yellow and blue. And then if you fancy it, quinacridone gold, because that's a nice lift. And then the three or four tertiaries. You've got, secondary colours, the green, the purple and the orange. This is just extra. These two here are just my sort of, well, why nots? So that's what I'm going to be painting with. I'm going to be using a piece of, actually I'm going to lash out today because it's Saturday. Why not? I'm going to use a piece of Arches, £140 watercolour paper. And then I'm going to also use a brush. And that's going to be, I'm going to use this one, a Da Vinci Usuri sable. I think it's a synthetic sable. I don't possess anything as expensive as a real sable brush. Number 10, so a 10 round with a point. Doesn't matter too much about the point because we're not doing anything very pointed today. And then I'm going to grab my sketchbook, a sketchbook with a page in it that hasn't been used, 2022 number 1. Okay, and I'm going to show you just a way of drawing a cat, and then we're going to paint them. So bear with me, because when I draw cats, often I find they look like dogs. And I've been puzzling about this for a while. What is it? Why do my cats look like dogs? And so I thought, well, I have to try something different. So I'm going to show you what I came to in the end. I decided, I know sometimes when I paint birds, I start with the legs. And I thought, well, maybe I can do something similar with the cat. So I thought I'll start with the nose. And I thought, let's make the nose a little bit heart-shaped. Just because, why not? Because cats are adorable. And then the mouth, like this. So we have something between a cat and Hercule Poirot. And then the next thing that's distinctive about cats is their whiskers. So we put those in, and now it's no longer Hercule Poirot, but it could be Top Cat, couldn't it? Or Pink Panther. And then we need the eyes. Now, cats' eyes are not directly above the nose. That would be silly. They're off to one side, and they're not too high. If they were very high, they would look wrong. So I'm going to start with a circle and 2 circles, evenly spaced. And then a way of doing it is to draw the pupil in the center and shade that in so that gives you a bit of realism. And you can do this however much you want the realism. You can just do a circle with a dot in the middle if you want. Then the key is here. This is the center, this is the inside of the eye. You see the point there. The ear lines up with that. And the space between here and here is a little bit more than that to where the ear starts. And then the ear is a curve like that. And this is the same. So you go up from the inner edge of the ear of the eye, and then it's curve on both sides. And that's the key. I was doing the ears like that, and they're not like that. They're curved like that. And then the head is a curve in between, like that. And, at this point you could say, oh, well, yes, but no, but the nose is too big. So because you started with the nose, you might have found that proportions went out a little bit. So just rub it out and then put a smaller nose in. Okay. And then you're going to draw the head. And so that's just basically a bit of a circle. And then the body, which is a bigger circle, and you can sort of, make this up as you go along. And then the feet, the legs in the front, a bit of a straight line on the center like that, a bit of a curved line on the outside edge like that, and little puddies like that. And then you can have the tail going up like this, or more typically, the tail would go round the front of the paws like this. We've got a cat, a Siamese kind of thing, and she sits like a little statue out of an Egyptian tomb. She's very elegant. And you can change the shape, of course, to suit your own cat. You can have it fat, or if you want it to be really whimsical, you can do away with all the details and just have a very bare outline of the cat. But that's the way to do the face. I think I've put the eyes a little bit too high, so I'm going to rub out the nose. I'm quite happy with the ears, but I'm going to rub out the nose, put it in again here, and quickly do that. You see? You can just adjust it. So it's a good idea to practice drawing these things first in pencil or whatever, and until you're happy. And that's the way to learn how to draw a cat. Okay, so now we're going to have a go at painting a wet in wet cat. And I've given myself today the treat of a piece of Arches watercolor paper. I'm just wondering which side is the right side. I think that's the right side. It's hard to tell. But yeah, I think that's the right side. So I'll turn it over. It's got a couple of globs of paint on it from the table, but never mind. What can I do? I'm going to use a brush I don't normally use, and we'll see how that works out for me. This is a Da Vinci American brush, size 10. It's a synthetic sable, I'm pretty sure it is. So let's dive in, shall we? And first thing to do is to paint. I'm going to put two cats on here, and I need to look at it a little bit from the side, but I'm just going to paint in a sort of elongated oval there, a bit like what we did for the birds before, and another one next to it, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try and make this work. So we have two cats. Tried and tested quinacridone gold. Just going to drop some of that in around here. And I think I'll put pink on the other side. These are going to be whimsical. Don't be afraid of the colour. And I'm just going to indicate their ears at the top here with the brush, which I'm going to have, there'll be pen work on top, so, you know, we'll be able to sharpen up the details. So I'm just kind of putting something remotely resembling the feet. And I think this one I'm going to be dramatically, what's the word, rash, and paint in a tail going up. And do we need another colour in there? I wonder. I think I might just pop in a little bit more quinacridone just to let that be filled up. And then the next one, I think we'll do this in completely different colours. I think I'll start with some cobalt blue, maybe. And let's start at the top with that too. I'm going to pop in 2 ears and then let that come down. And cobalt blue always makes me think it's crying out for violet or mauve or whatever. So really what we're trying to do is just get some lovely happy colours here and fill that in a little bit so that that can bleed. And being as it's Arches paper, it will hopefully give us a really nice mix of colours on the paper, hopefully. So we've given him a tail that goes round, and this one has a tail that's going up, which gives us perhaps a little bit of variety in the design. And now I have to wait for that to dry, and just notice I've got a little bit of pigment there that's kind of crunched together. So take that out, and the same here. Spread that out a little bit more. There we are. So now we need to wait a few minutes until that has done its blending thing, and we'll see what that looks like afterwards when we come in to put the features on our pushty cats. And you might be interested to see this. I've just done 2 more cats, same idea exactly, on, this is Bockingford paper. It's a cheaper paper, it's a cellulose paper rather than cotton, and it has a lot more texture. And it's possible that this is more suitable for this kind of painting, depending on how much you like the texture in your painting, which is quite different from this, which is the Arches, the very fine grade cotton paper. Cotton, not cellulose, cotton paper. And the blending is completely different from on this one. This one has a much coarser, I suppose you would say, effect compared to this one, which is quite fine and actually is nearly dry already. This paper does seem to dry very quickly. So I think what I can do with this one, since it's probably stopped moving more or less now, is I can put the hairdryer on that to finish it off drying, and we'll carry on with the features on the cat. So if you're not completely confident, as none of us is often, about your positioning of the features and so on, you could start by putting this in with pencil, just as a tryout. So remembering that your eye needs to go with the inside of the eye lined up with the inside edge of the ear in order to retain that cat-like appearance. And I think that's probably okay. So we'll ink that in. And the pupil of the cat's eye is fairly small, I think you probably would say, looking a bit more carefully at what I've been using for my reference material. So I just put a little dot of white in there, and then I'm going to just do the circle around the outside of the eye like that. And then I'm going to use a little bit of gouache, and you could use a pencil or some kind of felt tip pen to do the, or you could use gold, a gold pen, a coloured pen of some sort, but I just want to get some light colour in there for the eye. I'll wait for that to dry and then I'll make it a little bit darker than that. Then we have the nose, which we're going to, I think, probably paint pink, and then the Hercule Poirot moustache, and put some whiskers in because that really is the defining feature of the cat. And then the ears we will make curved on the outside edge like that. And then we can come all the way around if you want. Don't have to ink the outside edge of the cat. Don't forget his feet. Everyone has their own way of using a pen, don't they? You don't have to copy my method. I'm sure you have a good one too. I'm going to leave that edge there rough because that looks like fur. And then, so let's just improve that a little bit there, make that a little bit darker, and that a little bit bigger. You can change the character of the cat completely just by playing around with the eyes a little bit. And as long as you've got this relationship here right, everything's okay. Some shadow in his ears perhaps. And then I thought it's probably a good idea to just add some colour. Make him a bit more interesting. And I just picked up the water brush and found that that has some kind of green on it. So we've gone all over everything we did before. And we've got this interesting mottled kind of effect, which I think would make quite a nice background for some embellishments. So I think that's actually quite a good thing. So now I need to come over here to do this one. Start with the ears this time. Remembering the key thing is that they should be curved. As long as you can maintain the element of cat, the important proportions, inside edge of the eye lines up with the top of the ear, and then you can go more haywire, you know. That's where the whimsy comes in. Once you've got the bare bones that make it a cat, then you can play around to your heart's content. That looks like a back foot there. You need to follow the paint a little bit. It doesn't matter that the head seems to be too small compared to the feet. And then I think, again, the same thing. I'm not going to use the water brush because I don't think I was very pleased with that. Just sharpen up some of the colours there. A little bit more. Perhaps we might want to give him some stripes on the tail. And this one too, perhaps. Now we need to let that dry, and then we'll come in and we'll do the embellishment. Okay, so these are completely dry now, and if you're wondering why I've left such a big amount of body with no details, that's because I'm going to use this as a doodling site for my evening in front of the television when I don't want to actually paint, but I want to do something creative. So I prepare the backgrounds during the day, and then in the evening, when I sit down to do something creative, I've got this to do. So I'm going to have this in front of the television if necessary. And I think you'll find that what happens is when you give yourself plenty of time like that, you come up with things that you didn't expect. And you might find that you want to alter things as well. So, and if you use a white pen, this is a gel pen from Uniball Signo, it's called, and it will actually go over black, and it will turn the black into something less what's the word? Less dominant kind of thing. So, and then once you get started, it's actually easier. It's hard to get started, I find. I've been looking at this. Did this morning before lunch and got completely stuck. And I was thinking, I don't know, maybe I have to start again. But I've come back after lunch, and now I can see where I was thinking of going, and it was here. So this background, although it wasn't what I intended, has turned out to be quite a nice background, and I'm quite happy to be drawing over that. This paper, this is the Arches paper, and it's not bad actually. It's quite nice to work on. Better than the Bockingford, I think. I've got the Bockingford here. I don't know. No, probably not much in it actually. In fact, this might be better, because although this has shown quite a lot of grain, it does feel fairly smooth. And this is, I don't know, it's nice. And I think I'll probably use a little bit of coloured pencil as well on here, and perhaps fill in some of these shapes with some colour. This is Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer set of watercolour pencils. And I got out, before I started, some sort of toning colours that I hoped would sort of go with this particular background. And then you can, if you want to, you can sort of go over the legs, for example. Get a nice kind of little texture there. It's quite nice. Maybe add a little bit of purple to the tail. Perhaps you might want a bit stripy. So you can sort of emphasise the colour that's already there underneath. And this one you could do some of these concentric rings, just make them a tiny bit darker. And then we've got some pink. I can put a few pink highlights in. It's just fun. It's like going back to primary school. Only when they're in primary school, not everybody appreciates having the freedom to do this kind of thing, do they? I don't know, do children do colouring in school anymore? They probably think it's time wasting and they'd be better off learning something on the computer, which I don't agree with, but there we are. Who cares what I think? Okay, so let's get this working again. So you can carry on doing this as much as you want. Do different shapes. You can overlap them. Nice lot of spirals and flowers. To remember not to press too hard with these pens, and I do think this one probably is starting to run out, so I'll try this other one here. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then we could use a little bit of gold pen in here. I like using the gold because it stands out really well. Put some over here as well, so it looks balanced. And in the end, we can go over the whole thing. A little bit more purple, perhaps, over here. There we are, it's starting to look quite pretty. I think we need a little bit of pink on this side. Just a little bit. A few dots perhaps to balance off that side. And maybe some in the middle. So there we are, that's that for now. So number 2, let's give him some colour in his legs. Nice pattern coming up from the paper there. And if you want to, you can, of course, here's the thing. Wow, look at that. That's watercolor pencil for you. So I suppose, having done that, we had better do the same over here. Yes, well, I think that might be a little bit on the right side, so I just think we'll press with some watercolor, some tissue paper on there and take some of that paint out because I didn't expect that to go quite that bright. But it's quite a nice kind of distressed appearance there. There we are, that's better. And just bleed that in a little bit, blend that in a bit up here. You never know what's going to happen, do you? That was bright. Marvellous. And then, so now we'll get on with the embellishment, just the same. Dry that. Put a piece of tissue on there. Where you've got the colour a little bit darker, of course, the white shows up a little bit better. When you do this, it is a relaxing thing, but if you're feeling tense, you might find that at the beginning you perhaps want to practice on a spare piece of paper, because otherwise, you know, it might not work the way you want it to. I came across the comment somewhere not long ago. I think it was on Happy Painter. She said, if you aren't happy with your painting, keep going, don't stop, because eventually it might turn out okay. So I think that's good advice. And just keep making adjustments until you finally are happy. I think that needs another circle around it there. I was watching a video last night when I should have been asleep about junk journaling, and I want to know, can anyone tell me, what do you do with a junk journal? I don't know what you do with a junk journal. I know that might sound silly to some people, but I mean, are they for writing in? Are they just for looking at? What are they for? And if you're making one, I mean, I'd like to have a go, but if you're making one, how do you take the plunge and start ripping up books? I think I'm going to find that really hard. It would have to be a book I didn't like. I don't think I could do it to a book like the Bobbsey Twins or Jennings and Derbyshire, a book that I'd enjoyed reading. I don't think I could disrespect the book that much. I don't know. What do people think about that? I'm sure it's a lovely craft, and I know I've seen some beautiful work. But what do you do with them when they're done? Answers to the question below, please. So here we are then. We're just doing the same thing again on this one. I think I prefer these pencils when they're not wet. They're a bit sudden with their sudden explosion into colour. Amazing. Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing, I won't do it for the video, I'll just do it for myself. A junk journal, not exactly a junk. What I was thinking of was making a book with watercolor paper in it so that I could actually work in it, but I wouldn't want to have all the pages covered in stencils and stamps and all the rest of it. That's Zen barking at the lady from the farm next door who is shouting at her cows. Okay, we put a little bit of gold on here too. Zen! And I'm thinking, I want my little pen to work. I think these cats need some eyelashes. And this one, she hasn't got her ears sorted yet. And then we could put some things on her tail. And I'll tell you what, I know what this is. This is she has got a pendant on. There we are. Okay, and then finally, of course, we need a few flowers. Growing up. And the ground. And the sunshine. And a little bird. So we can colour those in later. So there we are, all done, apart from colouring in the flowers. I don't know whether that will work with water. If you do that really lightly, you get a very interesting sort of blended effect. I think it's quite fun. I think these ways of using watercolor pencils are quite interesting and need to be explored. I think I've said before that I don't understand the idea of painting with great accuracy. I can't see the point. I'm hoping that as I get older and I become, I suppose I will, shaky and so on, it won't matter because my style, because it could lead you to despair, couldn't it? If you couldn't do things to the accuracy that you used to be able to. So the sunshine, sun needs some sun. It's very quick and easy to just pop some light in there. Only using a small brush. It doesn't need too much water. There we go. And a little yellow birdie over here, a canary. There we are. So I've added a couple more little friends for the kitty cats. Can you spot them? I hope you give this a try and enjoy making it yours. It's a nice, relaxing kind of painting, I think. So thanks for being with me. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you here again soon. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.